Cyber Innovations in the Private Sector highlights case studies and the latest industry trends from private vendors. Explore innovative solutions, success stories, and exclusive insights from industry leaders. Stay ahead with the cutting-edge developments driving the industry forward.
Welcome to a new episode of CyberSecTV Private Innovation. As Europe moves to strengthen its digital sovereignty, cybersecurity has become a cornerstone of strategic autonomy, and private financing is playing a pivotal role. From funding next-generation startups to scaling trusted infrastructure, venture capital is helping translate Europe's digital ambitions into real technology leaderships. With us now is Brice Lapouble, part of Axeleo Capital and responsible of cybersecurity venture capital. Brice, thank you for being here.
So hi Nicolas, I'm Brice. I'm a partner at Axeleo Capital. I've been investing in VC for a bit less than a decade, and I've been doing that at Axeleo for the last 4 years. At Axeleo, we are a French VC based in Paris. We've launched operations back in 2017, and our mission is to invest in European early stage companies. And we do that through different verticalized funds. One of them is a B2B tech fund investing mostly in cybersecurity companies. And we've been doing that over the last almost decade. And we've been lucky to actually support companies in cybersecurity that went from, seed stage to growth stages, eventually got acquired by US companies mostly. Through the B2B tech fund investing in cybersecurity, we basically invest checks up to 2 million as a first investment in pre-seed and seed. And then we can double down in Series A and Series B to be, let's say, a long-term financial partner. Yeah, obviously, if you're an entrepreneur innovating in the cybersecurity field, please feel free to reach out to us. I'll be happy to know more about what you're cooking.
Okay, Brice, let's start talking about investment trends. As reported in the 2024 Axeleo Capital's Cybersecurity Index, you have seen a 35% decline in both deal activity and total funding in the US cybersecurity sector. What factors do you believe contributed to this downturn? Do you foresee these trends evolving?
So, I guess that my take is that the 35% decline in European cybersecurity funding this year reflects several converging factors. First, we are seeing a natural correction after the hyperinflated valuations of 21 and 22. Many investors have probably shifted to, let's say, a more disciplined approach focused on sustainable unit economics and clear path to profitability. Second, macroeconomics headwinds have also played a role. Rising interests made capital more expensive, forcing the funds to be more selective. And additionally, many cybersecurity companies received substantial fundings in the previous rounds over the last few years and are basically still deploying that capital, creating a natural lag in the new deals. But looking forward, I expect a gradual recovery in the late 25, probably beginning of 26, but with a stronger emphasis on companies demonstrating efficient growth and concrete customer tractions.
Cloud security and threat actor intelligence were most active sectors, each accounting for a significant portion of deals. What emerging cybersecurity domains do you anticipate will attract increased investment attention in the coming years?
The landscape is rapidly evolving, and we are seeing several emerging domains that will attract probably significant investment attentions in the coming years. I guess that the first obvious one is AI security. It is becoming a critical investment focus. This operates on two fronts: securing AI systems themselves from emerging vulnerabilities like, prompt injections, model poisonings, leveraging AI to actually enhance security capabilities. We are seeing, for instance, a lot of things around code security, code AI, code reviews, all the things that could be plugged into the AI code gen tools like Cursor or Windsurf or all those kind of players. It's funny and an interesting moment because the pace of innovation is remarkable, and we are seeing startups developing novel approaches to detect AI-generated threats and protect AI infrastructure that didn't even exist 18 months ago. Second one that is a bit related also to the first point. We are seeing and witnessing a fundamental shift in identity security. With the proliferation of AI tools across enterprises, we are now managing not just human identities, but also an explosion of non-human identities. AI agents, bots, and automated systems accessing, sensitive resources within the company. And this creates basically an entirely new attack surface. And these companies developing solutions that can manage and authenticate and monitor these AI-driven identities will see probably substantial investor interest. I mean, this isn't just an incremental improvement to existing identity and access management solution, but represent probably a paradigm shift in how we think about identity. And maybe if I have to add a third, trend, I would go for the cloud application detection and response. That probably represents the next evolution in cloud security. As organizations deploy, increasingly sophisticated cloud-native applications, traditional security approaches probably fall short at some point. And the startups developing tools that can monitor cloud applications' behavior, detect anomalies, and respond to threats in real time across multi-cloud environments are probably positions for significant growth and investment attention as well.
The proportion of deals involving at least one female founder dropped from 16 to 5% in 2024. What strategies can we implement to promote greater diversity and inclusion within the EU cybersecurity startups ecosystem?
Right, this is an important topic, and the gap is quite striking. And I mean, we could be tempted by saying that it could be explained solely by initial education, but when we look at the numbers, women, for instance, represent approximately 28% of engineering school graduates. And this figure could rise to 40% in certain digital technology programs. And those numbers come from a study from BCG and CSTAT 2023. So let's say that the gap couldn't be explained only by that. I think like cybersecurity is still too often presented as a very technical subject for technicians and even geeks. When we are talking about, network protection, infrastructure, vulnerability management, this narrative probably obscures, its societal impact. And when I say societal impact, I mean protecting privacy, preventing violations of fundamental rights, combating misinformation, and ensuring trust in digital systems. And these represent probably a strategic recruiting mistake. Still according to this same study, 62% of the women surveyed placed finding purpose in their top 3 job selection criteria. And when we look at the same number for the men, it's only 45%. So by failing to better highlight this societal utility on their mission, cybersecurity startups are probably missing a key lever for actually attracting women. This is actually what we try to do at Axeleo Capital. We've signed the CSTAT charter that I invite everyone to take a look at too. And we commit to basically making our investment processes more objective to limit gender biases. We also track gender-specific metrics on our deal flows for our own LPs. And we support our portfolio companies toward greater diversity, and particularly in key roles, by actually introducing them to specific headhunters dedicated to diversity recruitment.
With Axeleo's capital focus on supporting B2B tech startups from seed funding to Series B, what are the primary challenges these startups face when scaling, and how can investment mechanisms be tailored to address this challenge effectively?
Well, the journey from seed to growth stage present several, predictable and yet challenging hurdles for cybersecurity startups. Probably the most common stumbling block is the transition from being a technical founder selling to early adopters toward building a repeatable and scalable sales motion that can actually penetrate enterprise customers. And so European startups face actually the additional complexity of navigating fragmented regulatory environments across different countries, which also push the companies more and more to start to sell to the US from day one to avoid this European market complexity. And also because like the willingness to pay is a bit higher in the US in general. So this is the first point. Obviously talent acquisition, particularly for specialized security roles, it remains fiercely competitive, and the amount of profiles available to be hired is there are very few profiles to be hired in this field. Our investment approach acknowledges these challenges by providing, more than just capital, and we try to connect portfolios, companies with go-to-market experts. We facilitate introductions to potential enterprise customers, and we basically help them navigate to complex regulatory landscape. We are also increasingly structuring investments with longer runways to give founders adequate time to build sustainable growth engines.
How can venture capital firms collaborate with governmental and non-governmental organizations to create funding mechanisms that supports the growth of cybersecurity innovations across Europe? So
that's an important topic, and I think that effective public-private collaboration is crucial for European cybersecurity. We are seeing promising models emerge, such as the European Innovations Council's blended finance approach, combining both grants with equity investments. So this is the type of initiatives that could, favor cybersecurity in Europe. Venture firms can also play a vital role by obviously participating in national cybersecurity strategies, helping governments understand market needs and technological trends. We actually regularly engage with initiatives like the European cybersecurity organizations that's, to shape policies discussions. And actually, probably all the cybersecurity experts, investors are actually part of these organizations. So I also invite the audience to take a look at this association. I believe that we need more specialized funds co-invested by both public and private entities, particularly focused on critical infrastructure protection and sovereignty technology developments. And these partnerships could help de-risk early-stage investment in strategically important areas while accelerating commercialization path.
What advice would you offer to cybersecurity startups seeking funding in the EU? And how should they position themselves to attract investment?
Well, I guess that there is not like the perfect recipe, but what I would say is for startups seeking funding in today's environments, my advice would be quite straightforward. Focus relentlessly on demonstrating business impacts. Technical innovation is great, but alone basically isn't enough. You need to articulate how your solution addresses, quantifiable pain points and delivers measurable return on investments. You also should build relationships with potential investors before you need capital. The most successful founders in our portfolio engage with us months or even sometimes years before they actually formal fundraising process. Finally, maybe don't overlook European specific advantage. Showcase your compliance expertise, data sovereignty capabilities, and understanding of the European regulatory landscape as strategic differentiators when competing against global players. These elements are increasingly becoming competitive advantages rather than just compliance checkboxes.
Keep tuned to be updated on product innovation and cybersecurity in the EU landscape.